Just looking at this kid in general, if we watch him full speed, he does a lot of things really well. Um, got very good arm action. Um, Once we begin to slow it down, we start to see some things that could cause a couple of problems. First is we see throwing across the body, which is going to limit uh, the velocity somewhat. So he's not going to be able to throw the ball as hard as he potentially could. Secondly, more importantly, it's going to play a big role in his ability to command the strike zone. We'll slow things down a little bit. If we start at the landing, we can see, back up just a hair, and we can see how far across the line he's actually striding. So the stride is not in line with the plate. If we kind of draw a line to where he started here, middle of the foot, towards home plate, we see that he's definitely coming back across his body. Again, his arm action in general is good. From the back view, and we can get into that on another video, we see a little bit of an inverted W, and I think that's more of a timing thing. We can certainly talk about that. But with this kid in general, I would begin working on maximizing command, because like I say, overall his mechanics are phenomenal for a 10-year-old. So to look at throwing across the body and then obviously running off the mound, we see that, which again is a product of inefficient weight transfer. It's occurring late. And all of that actually starts with the leg kick. So if we were to go back and look at, and again, it almost matches up with this line right down the middle of the mound, as he starts this rock back out of his windup. So he starts kind of squared up, does this little kind of side rocker step, and you see the hip movement. Okay, so as he goes into his rocker step, you're going to see the center of his body, which again controls everything, right? The center of his body is going to take quite a big move backwards. Well, obviously anything that goes up must come down. Anything that goes back that way is going to move in the opposite direction if we're trying to create some sense of balance and stability. So here we have this kid. Let's get him, basically, we'll clear those lines. Let's get him right before leg kick. And we see at this point, what I'm going to do is draw a line from his ankle through his hip. Okay, so we kind of see that line. We're going to look at a couple things. The other thing I want to point out, because everything affects everything, let's look at the head. Okay, so as we go into leg kick, a couple things we're going to notice. We're going to see the center of the body move dramatically forward. I don't know what just happened there. Let's see if we can get him back to that point. Okay, so there we are. And as we roll forward, as we're going into leg kick, why is it skipping that? I have no idea. But we see how far forward the hips are moving. So we get to, again, leg kick. Look how far forward the hips are moving. Look how far forward the head is moving as we get into leg kick. Now the timing issue, in my opinion, has started right here when we get to the top of the leg kick and the hips are no longer moving forward but simply begin to rotate. But we see the results of that by, this is the point at which the lower half begins to rotate. And we see that coming out right now. So we look at where the head is moving down and forward. And then as we get into landing, we see how far the head has traveled, and then it pulls to the side because we're simply going in a direction this way with the body. We're going back and forth. Okay, that is causing the early hip rotation, more of a swing rather than a direct movement or a linear movement towards home plate. That is causing the inefficient weight shift forward towards the plate. And again, you look from this point forward, his upper half arm action from there. I mean, this kid's doing a lot of things very well. There's just some minor inconsistencies with timing and the direction in which he's trying to deliver the body. And again, those two things are going to limit the potential of velocity gains, and more importantly, they're going to limit his ability to command the strike zone. Anytime we're moving that far left and right, it's going to be awfully difficult to consistently deliver the ball, inside, outside, to the spots we want it. And here again, this pitch is missing low and in. So, again, overall, I would say really good basic mechanics, basic understanding of the actual movements. We can certainly start to work on some directional things with more of a relaxed leg lift and more of a directional move towards home plate rather than this, towards third base, then towards first base movement of the hips to initiate our movement. That's the genesis of where things kind of get offline. And we'll leave it at that.